Now, revelations last week showed that from Edward Snowden, a former contractor from Booz Allen, exposed the NSA's spying programs. The government has basically been collecting the metadata on your phone calls. And that includes who you called, how long you called them for, where you called them from, and we also found out about a government program called PRISM. Now, that goes way beyond metadata because it collects the content of your emails, your Facebook chats, Skype calls, both video and audio, what websites you go to, and it stores all of that information in a huge NSA database. Now, part of that law states that in order to do this quote-unquote legally, they have to go to a FISA court and get it approved. According to a recent article in Mother Jones magazine, just 0.3% of the over 30,000 surveillance requests that were made to the FISA court had been denied since 1979. Very few. Very few have been denied. 11, to be exact. On Wednesday, Loretta Sanchez, a Democratic representative out of California, had this to say after a hearing with the NSA the day before. She said, quote, "What we learned in there is significantly more than what is out in the media today. I can't speak to what we learned in there, and I don't know if there are other leaks, if there's more information somewhere, if somebody else is going to step up. But I will tell you that I believe it's the tip of the iceberg." In response, Democratic Senators Ron Wyden and Mark Udall immediately introduced a new bill to limit data collection. The Udall-Wyden proposed bill would require presidential administration to furnish specific evidence to a judge, likely in a foreign intelligence surveillance court, that there are credible reasons to believe a person is linked to terrorism or espionage before officials could broadly collect phone records. On the other side, you have people like Lindsey Graham, who said he was, quote, glad the NSA was collecting phone records. Of course, right? Graham told Fox and Friends, "I don't mind Verizon turning over records to the government if the government is going to make sure that they try to match up a known terrorist phone with somebody in the United States." To which they have no evidence that that's ever happened. Saxby Chambliss has said the collection of phone records was Saxby Chambliss had said that the collection of phone records is I'm sorry, I got this messed up here. But he had said, "To my knowledge, we have not had any citizen who has registered a complaint relative to the gathering of this information." And Senator Bob Corker, who's a Republican, found the NSA collecting phone records troubling. But of course, he had no problem authorizing it during the Bush years. So this point brings me to the American people. Now, there are quite a few polls done on what the American people think about the NSA's spying program. A Gallup poll released on Wednesday shows that 53% of Americans disagree with federal efforts to compile telephone call logs and internet communications, with only 37% saying they approved. However, on Monday, the Pew Research released a different poll that found that 56% of Americans believe that the NSA's use of secret court orders in an effort to prevent terrorism was acceptable. Yet the same poll asked whether the government should monitor everyone's email to curtail terrorism, and that had 52% of people saying no, and only 45% in favor. Now, the interesting thing about these polls are how they come down to who's in office. With Obama, shockingly, 49% of Democrats approved of the NSA's method, 40% disapprove. 63% of Republicans disapprove. However, when Bush was in office, the numbers were kind of flip-flopped. Also interesting, political affiliation aside, a majority of Americans agreed that the media was right to publish Snowden's reports, whether they think he was right or wrong to leak them in the first place. I agree.